Welcome to Seeing This. I'm Mike Ornelas, and I am honored to be joined by writer-producer Ray Spivey and co-creator and actor Alan Danziger, aka Chainsaw Jerry, whose new movie, The Weedhacker Massacre, has all the makings of a cult classic and is available on digital platforms October 17th. Alan, Ray, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Congratulations on the film. What a batshit crazy fun time.
That's the best quote we've heard. We
Who resemble that remark?
Yeah. Well, I hope it's taken as a compliment. I mean that as a compliment.
It is. Thank you. It's meant to be.
Where did the seed of inspiration for this movie come from? How did it become what it is?
You know, Alan had acted in our previous film, and we've gotten to be really good friends past 5 years. I don't know if we're friends still, but we are trying. And
We're in remission.
And as we've done all these talks about his time on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974, you know that he and his character had this amazing head of hair. It was a real fro. And he oftentimes says he is Disco Stew and The Simpsons is modeled after him. That's the way that. And so we always joked around like, yeah, did you ever get any injuries when you had that hair, any head injuries or stuff? And it kind of evolved into the scene you saw in the movie and everything. And then as we kind of talked about it some more, we were laughing about the fact that we've done indie films and how hard it is to make a film, and he's the king of horror, you know, one of the gods in horror history. And we laughed about the remakes, one remake after another. And there you go.
You know, for Alan, having, as you mentioned, played Jerry in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there is a lot of parody, I think, drawn from that movie as well as the genre itself, and Ray, like you said, in just the industry as far as remakes and IP. Are there any specific interactions or experiences, Alan, that you had on set with people or, you know, ADs or different things like that you pulled from?
Well, there's nothing
that you can share.
There's nothing to compare, you know, the original movie, because I mean that was a brutal shoot, you know, in July in Austin. It's like Africa hot. And you know, we didn't have the way Weed Hacker was shot, it was just a whole other ball game. So it was hard to, you know, to draw you know, similar parallels. But it was a lot of fun. Actually, it was a lot more fun doing Weedhacker Massacre than the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And again, you know, taking that shot that I took in the head, you know, 50 years ago, and I'm still getting headaches. So, you know, what does that tell you?
Oh no! Hopefully, no injuries for you on this set. Then
not on this one.
He made sure that we wouldn't shoot in June, and there would be no smelly raw meat on set. So that was critical.
You know, you bring up a great point, Ray. I was going to save it till later, but since you bring it up, why armadillo? Why armadillo jerky? Where did that come from?
You came up with armadillo, didn't you? You originally wanted your character to be eating armadillo by the van in the
eating something, you know, because I mean, I have a van, and one of our prizes is going to be dinner with Chainsaw Jerry in his van that I have down by the river. But yeah, I think that the armadillo actually, you know, I think that's a shot of the in Chainsaw.
Yeah, there's an armadillo.
There's an armadillo.
Yeah.
Originally, I think it was going to be a horse, but that was too gruesome, or a dog. So they settled on the armadillo. And while I'm talking about it, we should give a shout out again to Bob Burns, who did the props for Chainsaw. He was a true genius, and that's almost another character in the movie, or the props. You know, you can't make that stuff up.
Yeah, and just a fun story. I got that armadillo on eBay. Somebody had taxidermied it and made it into a purse.
Oh wow! The things you can do. The things you can do. I feel like I feel armadillo is a bit more fitting even for those characters that you use here in Weedhacker. Yeah. Ray, you know, weed is pretty foundational in the story of this movie. Dare I ask if there was any weed consumption in the writing?
No, there wasn't. In fact, I'll let Alan talk about the basis of it. He's the one who wanted to put weed in it. Now, I originally thought about weed as the instrument hacking up people. But we were on set, and one of the things that's interesting is when you buy fake weed, on eBay or wherever you can. It's really expensive. And one time I'd forgot my big burlap bag of fake weed at the house and trying to scramble as to what we were going to do in the scene. And our director comes up to me and says, "You know, if you take up a collection, you can probably get all the weed you want from the crew." But you remember you had gone to Japan with John, and you said you guys were like the Cheech and Chong.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, we were in London and in Tokyo and all over, and wherever we went, uh, we played some smaller venues, but we got standing ovations. You know, wherever we, and there were no chairs, so they were all standing. But an ovation is still an ovation. And I refer to us as the Cheech and Chong of horror. And if you've ever met John, you'll know exactly
This
why.
this is John Dugan
John
that
Dugan played Grandpa.
in the original Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw
Right.
and
Massacre.
actually, we're going to be together again on the 24th to the 26th here in Austin at Hooper's. There's going to be like a mini chainsaw reunion at Hooper's, which is where they moved the house in Kingston. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Ed and Ed Gwynn, the truck driver, and myself and John and some other surprises.
Well, make sure to have them remove all the chairs there as well, so you get another standing ovation for the
Exactly,
reunion.
exactly.
You know, you talked about kind of the industry doing remakes. Are there any horror remakes or sequels that have been made that you've enjoyed?
You know, for me, one of my all-time favorites is The Thing. I love the original short story. Of course, the Kurt Russell version is mind-blowingly good, and it's more closer to the book, actually. But you go back to the '50s and that black and white one they made where Marshall Dillon, James Arness played the Thing. Pretty damn scary for its time. The dialogue was really good. But, you know, they'll come up with things. I think we had just had lunch with David Blue Garcia not long ago, and he had done one of the more I guess it was the
The one
Netflix
that's on Netflix.
for Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw.
For me, I like the one with Jessica Biel,
Yeah.
and then the 3D one because Alexandra Daddario, I mean, beautiful. But I like that movie because, as I said, I got more money for not being in the original, for not being in that movie than I got for being in the movie. So
And they was that the one where they had like some still shots of you in at the beginning?
yeah, well,
Yeah.
no, they show a clip of
Yeah,
actually me
clip,
getting,
so
you know,
yeah,
me getting killed,
yeah.
and then I found out what my name was. I had a different name, so only
It's
in
a,
America.
I hear you. It's nice to get a paycheck for something you did years before, so that's great.
Exactly.
You know, I must confess, as I watched the movie, I had the Ballad of Weedhacker Willie stuck in my head for the longest time. It is quite a jam. How did you and songwriter Britton Buchanan come up with the song and in a way that it gives context to Willie's character and still be so catchy?
That's a great. The great story is I used to watch The Voice with friends of mine, Kenneth and Virginia, and on The Voice this 6 years ago, Britton Buchanan was on The Voice, and he was runner up at 18.
Wow.
And then several years later, he's a big chainsaw horror buff, and so he contacted me and asked if I would do a podcast with him, and he got my humor, he got the music that I had, and so we became really good friends. And he flew me to they flew me to North Carolina. In fact, I'm going back there in a couple of weeks for a meet and greet at a theater. So he actually wrote a song called "The Ballad of Chainsaw Jerry," and
Okay.
that's the original song. He changed the lyrics to fit the Weedhacker, Willie
Right.
thing. But it's a great song. As that other song, "Hammer to the Head," I think they could be top 40 songs. So great, great,
J
great understanding. I'm glad you mentioned
yeah,
that.
but Alan's kind of very angry about it because the Ballad of Weedhacker Willie, he thinks is a better song than the Ballad of Chainsaw Jerry, so he's very jealous about that.
I'm trying not to show. Trying not to show it.
Tough
It is.
Yeah,
competition.
yeah. But I mean, he grew up in the Bronx. You know what I mean? It's all about.
Yeah.
It's my life in 3 minutes.
I love it. I love it. What draws you guys to this genre? Not just horror, but going for that kind of, like I said, the makings of a cult classic. What about it really draws you into not just enjoying those kind of films, but also creating them?
I think we wanted to pay homage to all those great classics, and we have scenes in there that parody The Shining.
Mhm.
There's Shaun of the Dead with certain things being tossed. I'm sure you caught that. But we just had a lot of fun, and we wanted to pay respect to those, and at the same time have some fun with the fact that every day it seems like somebody's got a remake idea. I'm going to make that so much better than the original. Um, I think the one that was going around Hollywood for a long time was they were going to make a sequel to The Graduate. Go figure that one out with Dustin Hoffman. That was a long time ago. But they're always trying to come up with something to remake this because, again, the way the economics work, it's better to go with a known quantity. And just having Alan on board, it was just perfect. And he just wanted to act again, right? You just had that burning thespian desire. Thespian, I said.
Easy, easy. Well, actually, I mean, he rescued me off of that heap of whatever happened to, the one hit wonders. So I owe a lot to him. Actually, one of the funniest lines in that movie is that the Whataburger, line. As it turns out, I know the daughter of the fellow that started the Whataburger chain, and she's a terrific lady. She's traveling all over the world doing some great things. So I'm hoping to hook up or meet her again, after the movie, comes out.
I love that. This movie has a lot of energy. Like there's a lot of energy throughout this movie that you can feel. I would imagine on the set, there's a lot of energy amongst the cast and crew. Alan, does this are we going to see a lot more projects from you? Do you want, as Ray said, you want to keep on going?
I hope so, because as I've said on some other, my dream is to be the Colonel Sanders of horror.
I
So
love
this
that.
is this is a this is a big
So
a
one buck,
beginning point for me.
one bucket of chicken ain't gonna do.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
One bucket of chicken after another.
And as you see in the movie, there's a hint of possibly a sequel if this all goes well. And we've exchanged some notes. I've written some notes on it, and at least we're laughing at it right now. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed.
I was going to ask about how real, because it's folks at home, when you watch this, stick around post the credits. There is a post credit scene, and it hints at that. And I have to be honest, my eyes lit up like, oh, what will this? Will it be like a procedural? Will it still mix a courtroom with like horror? Like it sounds like there's so many creative options there. So I hope that happens. I hope that happens.
Well, we'll give you a spoiler. If it does happen, it will start in a courtroom, like the title said. And Willie's, he'll have actually 3 daughters at this point because, one was on the way. And those 2 little actresses with the black Willie hair are all ready to go. They want to get paid right now.
Love it. I love it. Just a couple more questions for you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially they're like Willie's hair voodoo dolls, or something of that sort that live in a sock. Yeah. Where did that idea come from?
Well, obviously Poker Face was enthralled by Willie's hair because it was kind of like his, very wild and unkempt. And the thought just hit me, if they're going to spend all this time, what would happen if while Willie's asleep, Poker Face started pulling his hair out, and he wanted like another like miniature Willie to walk around with. And then the more we got into it, the fact that there's weed around their camp and everything, that maybe there might be some hallucinations going on, and some real opinions might be expressed by this little Willie character.
Love that. I love that. Well, last question for you. You guys have been incredibly gracious with your time. Something I like to ask everyone that I talk to, what is an underseen movie? And I feel like you guys must have a plethora of them, but an underseen movie that you would like to recommend for people to check out, maybe to pair with Weedhacker Massacre.
It's a toughie. Non-horror, I wish more people would see Hell or High Water, the Chris Pine, Jeff Bridges movie. I thought that was phenomenal. Gosh, we've seen some. I went to the 40th anniversary showing of Reanimator the other night. They were in Austin with Barbara Crampton and Jeff. And I still don't know if enough kids have seen that. That is such great campy horror. It's fantastic. Have you got a movie you love?
Well, for me, would be my first movie, Eggshells. Because I mean, that movie came out, nobody saw that movie, and there's some wonderful techniques, and you could see the genius really of Toby in that movie. It's also Austin in the '60s. There's a huge Vietnam anti-war demonstration, and it just I wish more people could see that. And there's something in that movie where I say a line. I won't go into it now.
No, go ahead.
Well, there's a scene at the time. Actually, my wife at the time and my son is like 8 months old. He's in it,
Yeah.
and Kim. Have you seen the movie Eggshells?
I haven't, but when I was looking, I saw that your son was in it at
Yeah.
8 months old.
Well,
Yeah.
well, Kim Hinkle, who wrote Chainsaw along with Toby, he's reciting poetry to me, and to me, it's a lot of gibberish, And I'm kind of looking around. How do I get out of this situation? And then I go, "Are you talking to me?" And so I said that line 7 years before Robert De Niro said it, and still waiting to get my props. So
But it's the real reason why you're doing all these podcasts. He's in search of a pro bono attorney so he can sue De Niro.
pro bono, a Perry Como, Sonny Bono, any Bono at this point, I'll
Yeah.
take.
You're in. You're in. We'll help you out, Alan. Hopefully, we'll get people out here and degrees of
Terrific.
connection. We'll get it done.
Dynamite.
Alan Ray, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure, and I encourage any horror fan, any kind of like you said, cult classic camp fan, make sure to check out Weedhacker Massacre, and that will be available again October 17th on digital platforms. Alan Ray, thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Weedhacker Willie, Weedhacker Willie is true. That when things get chilly, folks get killy. Well, don't be silly, just be glad you're not Weedhacker Willie.